Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing Scream 6. And I just want to start by saying that I think the Scream franchise is the only horror franchise that has consistent enjoyment throughout each installment. While I don't think any of them are necessarily perfect, and this one certainly isn't, I still find a lot to enjoy with each film. That being said, I do think that Scream 6 starts to run out of steam narratively and metatextually. So let's tuck into the film. What I liked about the film was that first and foremost, this film feels like it has horror set pieces, like extended sequences that put you into that suspense and kind of cling on. And that is testament to the environment, the new environment of New York. I think they do capture quite well in a couple of moments, namely the subway scene and also the apartment fight and the kind of building crossover on the ladder. I thought they were really good examples of environment and just tension being built through environment that I think a lot of the other films have lacked. So I think in that way, the kind of switch of setting from Woodsboro to New York definitely did work. I also really like this film from a kind of character piece point of view, mainly for Sam. I feel like she is the kind of linchpin of this new series of films. And the film kind of plays quite interestingly with her heritage and her lingering darkness versus her desire to protect her sister. That sort of thing. I don't think the Billy Loomis visions necessarily help. They kind of feel quite clunky and heavy-handed at times, but I do sort of like the ambiguity that they treat her character with and that kind of inner existential crisis that she faces. I think she is far and away pretty much the only interesting character in the film. And I also really like how it subverts its own structural formula in the opening sequence. You know, if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but I think they played really well on that. And then kind of bookended it quite nicely in the finale as well, in a sequence featuring Sam. What did I not like about this film? I didn't like the killer reveal or the kind of reasons behind the killer reveal. They kind of fell short for me in this one. In fact, I can't actually remember off the top of my head what their reasons were beyond the kind of personal connection. So I definitely think there was an anticlimax with the kind of third act of the film. And it was for that reason that I mainly thought the franchise is running out of steam and running out of kind of narrative horror rules to subvert and tuck into and explore with each new reboot or requel, sequel, whatever. I also think this film is a bit of a piss take with how many characters survive. It's always been a staple of this franchise that characters get near fatally wounded with stabbings and then don't die, but this film, in my opinion, takes it to a whole nother level. Off the top of my head, I think there were 4 moments where I thought that person should be dead, or this is a great moment to give the narrative some emotional stakes and kill this person off, and then the narrative kind of cowers away from it. And a lot's been made of Scream 5 and Scream 6 specifically being more brutal and kind of taking the blood and the horror a bit further. And that's fine, but you can't get more brutal and then somehow less deadly. That combination doesn't work. You can't get more violent and savage and then have a body count that does not reflect that. There are a couple of moments where quite big characters, quite core characters, get shanked to the point where every internal organ should be malfunctioning. And then by the end, you realise they're on a stretcher in an ambulance, still breathing. The actual Ghostface body count in this one wasn't very powerful. You know, Scream 5 was divisive among fans, but the killing of Dewey was powerful and quite well handled, in my opinion. And in this film, there's kind of no such moment to equalise that. The only returning core member of the OG films is Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, who weirdly, for her first scene in the film, seems to undergo a bit of character regression and be back to the kind of same snobby reporting that she was introduced as in the first film. The kind of character development and selfless hero mode that she's had for the last couple of films seems to have dissipated. Like, she does get back to it, but where we find her in this film, it does feel like a bit of a weird character 180. I did enjoy Scream 6. Structurally, I think it plays with the formula quite well. There's a couple of good characters in there, and I do quite like the core 4. But for me, this film kind of just didn't have the stakes or the narrative anchor to kind of keep the core DNA of the franchise alive, which is essentially being a gimmick and very self-aware of the horror genre. The film felt like it didn't have enough ideas for that in this one. That being said, there will be a 7, I have no doubt. And I really, really want them to have 2 Ghostface killers on a killing spree that aren't connected. I think that is the best way for them to move forward. with a fresh idea. But if you have seen Scream 6, do let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Please also consider liking and subscribing to the channel, guys. Always a huge help for me. And in the meantime, we'll see you for the next one.